We have our monthly lunch and learn. My name's John. I'm the founder at 5x5, and today we are talking all things about what it takes to be successful on LinkedIn. And then as a byproduct of that, how can we drive traffic to our respective websites? I am the founder of 5x5, a digital agency based here at the Gold Coast. I lead a team of 50 people. We're an award-winning SEO agency building amazing websites, websites that generate leads and inquiries for our clients. And our big promise is we can double a client's leads and inquiries in under 6 months and deliver an amazing digital solution that they're super proud of. We have the wonderful Adam Houlahan. I've known him for almost 10 years now, mate.
Thanks, mate. So based on the Gold Coast, the same as John. Like John as well, though, our team's it's kind of actually probably more spread than John's all over the world. And we, as an agency, just focus on helping business leaders and industry professionals have a really high-level positioning on LinkedIn. And exactly as John said earlier, how you then use that positioning to drive traffic to your website or your offers or whatever it takes to get people to want to find out what the value you bring and why they want to work with you.
Mate, you're also a prolific published author. I was there at the start of the journey when you published your first book, and I also published a book, but then you've since gone on and published 6. So you're putting me to shame here, Adam. And these are the latest updates in the collection. Thanks again for joining us today. So why should everyone hang around for the next 20 minutes and listen to Adam and myself? We're talking the latest features on LinkedIn, how to drive traffic back to your website, how do we get people off the LinkedIn ecosystem, which is so great with connecting with people, but then how do we carry that conversation off that platform, and then the do's and don'ts. So this one may seem like a bit of an obvious one, but we're building websites day in, day out, and the amount of websites that we see that don't actually have a link to their LinkedIn profile. What you're seeing on screen here, this is the actual footer of our website. So there's a bunch going on, and just to give you context, it's just a little screenshot of what the footer looks like. And you can see here, there is a link to that, and that links through to our business page. You just want to talk about that, Adam?
Sure, John. Yeah. So there's two different ways that you could go about this, depending on what type of website you have. So if it's a company page like John has here, then clearly that link should be going to your company page on LinkedIn. But if say like if you're like myself, where we have a company page, and I also have a personal page it's about me as a speaker and an author, then on that page that link would then obviously go to my personal profile. So in most instances you're probably going to the company profile, but depending on which type of site you have, could go to your personal profile.
So vice versa. This is a screenshot of I think it's one of your clients.
It is, yeah.
Profiles. This is a new feature in terms of just providing a link back to your respective website. So I had my URL there in my profile, but the link wasn't showing up, and it wasn't until I queried you that you sort of clarified a few things. Do you want to just talk about that?
Sure. So this is one of the new features rolling out on LinkedIn right now. And just to quickly give you an idea of when you go looking on it for your profile, if it's not there, why? When LinkedIn roll out new features, they don't kind of like flick a switch and everybody in all 810 million of us on LinkedIn get that feature overnight. It goes through 5 stages of rollout. So I believe this one right now is in stage 3, which means that I'll give you an example. In our team, there's probably 1/3 of our team members have this, and 2/3 that don't, including me, John and I. So there you go. They don't play any favourites. I'm not getting any extra love above anyone else. As John mentioned, what it allows you to do is very clearly at what we call above the fold. be able to give people the ability to click directly onto your site or a page on your site. And of course, that's the first thing we're trying to do here is incentivize people to do that. So when you have access to that, I would highly recommend that you activate it. The way you'll know whether or not you have it is if you go into the edit feature on your profile and scroll to the very bottom of that, it'll say website link, or it won't. So if it doesn't, it'll say contact info, which is your standard info you already have. If it just says contact info, you don't have access yet. If it has another box below that, it allows you to put your website in there, then you do have access. The interesting part though, John, is you could go right now to Alfred's profile, and because you don't have access to this feature, you won't see it on his profile either.
Right.
It's really interesting. So it is, as I said, only about stage 3 or 5 in rollout. But one thing, guys, once you have access to this, I'd highly recommend you put your site in there.
Now, this is a particularly powerful one and a big part of getting people off your LinkedIn profile into your respective ecosystem. And it's what we call the featured section. Can you explain this in a bit more detail, Adam?
Well, yeah. So guys, you will all have access to this one. This one's been out for some time now. However, it's not by default activated on your profile. So you might have to go. You'll see a little tab if you're logged into your account that says Add Profile Features. If you open that up, it'll say featured, and it'll give you the option to add that to your profile. Now, what you can add here is you can add links to stuff that you've already put on LinkedIn, or if you've got a LinkedIn newsletter, you can link it to that. Any sort of videos that might be on, say, Vimeo or YouTube or anything like that, or of course, directly to your website. This section will allow you to add as many links as you like, but I would highly recommend that you have 2, 3 maximum there, and you want to make sure that whatever those links are, that as you can see in John's case here, he's got the perfect thing here. He's not actually linking directly to the homepage of his site. Number one, he's linking to his Digital Strategy Scorecard, and then to the audio of his amazing book. The key thing is that if someone clicks on those links, then it's gated, meaning that John's now going to also capture those people's information directly into his CRM, and that's that first step we're talking about, is moving people off LinkedIn into your world. What that means is ethically moving them off the LinkedIn platform, willingly coming into your CRM, and those 2 examples John gave you there are the perfect things to be putting there.
That first one you saw on the left, this is for our Digital Strategy Scorecard, and essentially this is a quiz or a scorecard that we set up. We've linked through to the landing page that explains the value and really, like, what we're going to give you feedback on in an automated fashion, the different areas and topics that we'll cover, how it works, all that sort of stuff. So then when a user clicks on the Discover the Digital Score, we're going to prompt them for their details. And then this is then how we can carry on that conversation external to the LinkedIn environment.
The key thing is, of course, when you're working with a professional web developer like 5x5, the key thing is to make sure there's good imagery on that page, because the way LinkedIn picks up what you're seeing there on John's example is relative to whatever you have on that page. So if you don't have a image that's kind of like John's, it's going to pick it up in a less than ideal fashion. If you don't have a great image on that page that has, like you have there, where you've got a very clear outlining of what it's about, often people will have like a stock image or something that
right.
And that's all it can pick up, is whatever's there. So you've got to make sure you've got a well formatted image like these ones you've got here.
Let's talk about this, the fundamental problem when linking off LinkedIn.
Often what we want to do when we're connected to lots of people on LinkedIn is send them direct messages with a say, hey, I'd love you to check out whatever it is you want them to have a look at. And, we're all hyper vigilant these days of clicking on links from people that, we're not really sure about. So LinkedIn has implemented quite recently this message that people get when they click on your link, even if they've already clicked on it. So that they're actually okay with clicking on it. However, it's not till after they've clicked on it, it goes, you're leaving LinkedIn, and are you sure you're okay with this, even though they've already clicked on it? So it's really, it makes people think twice about whether they do want to click on it. So the key thing is here, you've got to have a solution for that. And the solution is there's two things. One, there's certain parts of your profile where that does not happen. And surprise, surprise, with the ones we just shared with you, where you put that in that on your profile up the top where it says the website link, or your featured section. Those are they don't get that message. Yep. So one, that's why it's so important to use those features. But two, if you are going to send it in a direct message, you address the elephant in the room, so to speak, which is to put in your message. I might say, hey, John, I got this free event coming up. I know you'd be interested. Just check it out here. By the way, I know you're going to get this message. Our sites are checked very regularly by the awesome team at 5x5, and there's no malware or anything there. So just address the elephant in the room. However, you also need to make sure you are working with your web team to make sure that it is being checked regularly. Yeah, and I imagine that's a standard part of what you guys do, John. Is it?
Well, yeah, from a security perspective. If you're running something like WordPress, WordPress is an open source bit of content management system. It is vulnerable to outdated plugins, and if your core isn't up to date and all that sort of stuff, there is the potential for that malware. And the moment platforms such as LinkedIn, such as Google, get a sniff of any of that malware, they're going to shut that down. So they will not send traffic your way.
That's it. So yeah, you got to one, address the elephant in the room, but also make sure that you're keeping your sites up to date and everything hunky dory.
So in terms of creating the content, do you want to talk about that in a bit more detail, Adam?
One of the mistakes that often gets made, and people think LinkedIn's this target-rich environment for pitching, their whatever it is they do. The reality is the reason why people are on LinkedIn is that they're there to connect with, people that they have interest in. Why they're interested will vary, but also one of the main reasons they're there, and one of the things LinkedIn wants to become, is a content platform. Mm-hmm. So they're there to get good quality content. The real strategy that works best is to position yourself as that person of authority in whatever field it is that you're in, and use that authority to have people willing to want to come to your events, or you might be running a webinar or a lunch and learn. Exactly, these are fantastic. These are one of the best strategies to use on LinkedIn to inform and educate your audience, and that way they're very keen to come off LinkedIn and register for your events. We run an event practically every month these days. Yep. This one that John's showing there is a one we've been running for a very long time. It's pretty much about the biggest LinkedIn event in the world now, believe it or not, John. And we probably get
that right, mate. Bragging rights. That's
just
that. Well done.
Throw that in there. But we get about probably 2,000 to 2,500 people registering for
Fantastic.
Each one of those that we run, and that's how we do it. We literally do it off a LinkedIn strategy. Of course, over time, we've built that database, so we're inviting people through the database, and literally we have no ad spend. We do it all through that.
Organic.
Yeah.
Mate, and kudos to you, because, I reflect and I've been observing your journey over the years, and you've just been consistent. So you've just been consistently doing this, and it just continues to grow and compound and gather speed. So I just want to layer that in as when you first do it, you're probably going to get a handful of people, right?
John, the very first one of these that we ran, we had 20 people. It's and we were happy with that. At the time, it was great. It was awesome. But nowadays, we count them in the thousands.
So we're talking do's and don'ts of LinkedIn, and there's a lot of questionable behavior going on the platform in general. What are the do's, Adam?
Yeah, mate. So the do's are, always come from a positioning of adding value to people. So like, John shared on his, the scorecard. Scorecards are fantastic. That they add value to people if you create them the right way. Run events, create free courses or things that you start there. That's the thing that is going to get you the audience. And also algorithmically, we don't really have time to go super deep on it. And I can geek out and talk about this stuff for hours. So don't send me down the rabbit hole. But LinkedIn starts to pick up what you're doing, and they understand what you're doing. They understand who your market is, and this is why we get the traction we do. Is because LinkedIn now very well understands who our market is, who gets value from our stuff. They see the amount of people that leave recommendations on my profile and the good quality conversations that are happening. And so that's why they're quite happy to organically sort of promote us.
Yeah.
So that's where it starts, adding value first, have that free next step. So it's a scorecard, an event, it might be a white paper, whatever it is. And then have a real process that actually where your sales process happens off LinkedIn, not on the platform.
If we look at the don'ts, what should we not be doing on LinkedIn, Adam?
Yeah, so just think about all the bad experiences you've had on LinkedIn. I guarantee you, somebody's sent you a message saying, "Hey, buy this thing that I'm selling," and you'd think that they'd send 1,000 of those messages to people, and maybe, hey, look, if they got one sale out of 1,000, I'd say do it, but I guarantee it's less than that. Make every sales process a sales pitch. Clearly, it's you're not going to be in favor with your audience if everything you send them is a sales pitch, as opposed to something that adds value. And the number one thing that I see constantly is people are wanting to connect with someone, and they send them a message saying, "Hey, I'd love to connect because I want to talk to you about this fantastic opportunity I've got in Bitcoin." What's the chances you're going to accept that one? It's probably not.
No, it's like going in for a pash on the first date, Adam. We got to get to know each other first, mate.
That's it.
Your key takeaway from today is we want to make sure that our website and our LinkedIn profiles are interlinked. So we've got that sort of network between the two. You need to just go in and do an audit of your profile. And today, preparing for this was the perfect opportunity to do that. There was a bunch of old stuff in there. I realized I actually hadn't posted any content for a little while. So that's a good little, kick for me to get busy on that and share some of the content that we've been creating out there in the world, which is then the third point.
I wouldn't say we don't sell. We definitely, obviously, we're all here as business owners or whatever to sell. But the point being is LinkedIn's that platform to position you as the authority. And as we said, that's you do have a sales process. It just happens off LinkedIn. So I should say don't sell on LinkedIn.
Adam, there were a few questions here in the Q&A. Do we get penalized for taking viewers off LinkedIn by posting your website?
And I think what she's talking about there is like if we did a post and you included a link to our website in the post, which you'll see, some people doing. Now, what happens is LinkedIn doesn't stop you from actually uploading that post, but what they will do is what is called suppress it, which means that unless somebody actually goes directly to your profile and onto your feed, they can't see it. That it's not coming up in their feeds. So there is a little workaround, which is to the best way to do a post like that is to write a bit of a post about why someone would want to have a look at that content, and then have a call to action saying, look, if you're interested in this, let me know and I'll share the link with you. And then you share it directly to them in the comments. And that's not going to get the penalty from because obviously the bots that are doing this stuff are looking at the actual body of the post or the link, not down in the comments.
Create a post about your post, so a post summarizing your post, and then a link in the comments. What is the best type of post to generate engagement? Regular post with image, newsletter, or video?
The answer is all of the above. What LinkedIn really likes is variety. So if you just focus on just video or just newsletters or whatever, eventually they're going to go, oh, this is getting a bit tiring, and they're going to start to reduce your visibility. There's also a feature on LinkedIn that we again didn't have time to go through today called Creator Mode, and LinkedIn favors content creators who are using Creator Mode. So the number one thing is have that activated, but have a variety between all those things that you just requested.
What are your thoughts on the website link to send it to something like Linktree, giving more opportunities to people to digest your offering?
What's the reason why someone's going to want to do that? So you've really got to create content that sells the sizzle more than the sausage. So the type of content or the type of strategy that's going to get the most traction is not just sharing links. I guarantee you, if you have a look at the content on my profile, you'll see very few posts even talk about links. It's all about just adding value, and at the right time, we do say, hey, do you want to come to this event or whatever? And then people very willingly come across. Just sharing links like that is going to be a lot of work for little return.
What's the ideal balance between your profile page and your company page? Should the profile page always be stronger?
100%. The reality is people want to interact with people. So as an example, when people want to find out what we're about, 95% of the time, they're going to come to my personal profile before they come to the company page. They'll come to the company page after they're interested. Unless you're a large corporation like a Nike or an Apple or something like that, it's a bit different then. But for us mere mortals in the SME world, 95% of your activity and time should be put into your own profile, 5% into your company page.
Does it have to be mainly the video and photo for your target market? I am a video content creator specializing mostly in commercial media. So by the sounds of it, you've got access to a ton of video. Any thoughts around that, Adam?
Yeah, Caitlin, that's the rabbit hole or the trap that often people in your industry get into, because you think because that's what you do, that all your content has to be a example of your work. In simple terms, that's correct. Unfortunately, algorithmically, LinkedIn's going to severely punish you for making all that content in that same format. So you still need to mix it up between newsletters, status posts with no images, some with images, your video content. It has to have that variety, or you're not going to get the visibility that you desire.
What are your thoughts using hashtag?
Hashtags are a must, and the magic number is between 3 and 5. What we know from our research is that if your content has less than 3 hashtags, it won't get as much traction. If it has more than 5, it will also start to get punished because it starts to look more promotional and marketing relative. And the interesting thing, John, you'd find this interesting, is the first 3 hashtags you use in your content actually get indexed into the URL that's unique to that piece of content, and that is also searchable now or findable via Google.
Through Google.
Google. So that's why personally I believe 3 is the right number.
Magic number.
Between 3 and 5 is the sweet spot.
Is there any value in creating a hashtag for your business name?
Yeah, 100%. More so from the point of positioning. So I use one which is Adam's View, and I
saw that.
Yeah, and so the reason is that. And I'll give you a quick, very, very quick story. That I had someone contact me some time ago, said, I'd love to talk to you about what you do. We got on a conversation. She ended up becoming a client. And then I said, oh, by the way, how did you kind of find out about us? She said, a friend of mine told me to look you up on LinkedIn. I went and I saw your content, and on the weekend, I binged 6 hours worth of reading, investing in your content. And I said, goodness, I can find a better thing to do on the weekend. How'd you do that? She said, oh, I just clicked on your hashtag Adam's View and it was all there. So that's what it does.
If anyone wants to see a scorecard in action, what we're going to do, we're going to do a follow-up email to everyone who was on the call. It'll provide a link to that. Fill it out. That'll give you an understanding as to what the offline sort of off LinkedIn steps look like, and how you may apply these principles to your business, to your methodology, to how you serve your clients. Adam's is called the LinkedIn Productivity Assessment. So we're going to provide 2 links to those. Go and check it out. See how you stack up from a digital perspective and a LinkedIn perspective. And we look forward to seeing you on the next Lunch and Learn.